Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. I am, of course, Nick McDaniel, and as always, I am joined by my man, Myron.
So good to be back in the broadcast booth again today, Nick. How are things over there at the comic book land?
Man, it's doing good, man. Can't complain. Just chugging along. Got some good news. I'm going to talk about it at the end of the show. I'm going to save it. There's a teaser. Got something really cool going down this weekend, Labor Day weekend. I might even do some videos, Myron, from where I'm heading to. Maybe some reels over on Facebook, maybe, or maybe even some exclusive stuff I might do over on our YouTube channel. That's right. Go over to YouTube and search us out, Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. And, like the page, subscribe, all that good stuff. Turn on your notifications so you don't ever miss anything, especially potentially this weekend. We could possibly, like I said, have some fun. And I'll tease what I'm doing this weekend when we get to the end. But always, man, you get that stuff early, get it, somebody told me a cool trick, by the way. Members, there's a way to actually have the YouTube ads not run in the middle. And so I'm going to fix that. So going forward, if you're a paid member, the YouTube ads won't be there, but the YouTube, the public version will have the ads that run in it as well. So you'll get that ad-free way. I was not even aware that was a thing. That's what we always say. We're always learning, man, because things are always changing.
Nick is the innovator. The innovator of, well, not violence, but podcasting.
I'm not the innovator. I always tell people, I'm not an innovator, dude. I'm just coachable. I'll keep studying. If somebody will teach me, dude, I'll learn. I'm all about that. So, anyway, but man, look, we're going to get into some questions, but before we do, I have addressed this on some of the little daily mind up things that I do. We've had some conversations about it behind the paywall, but we just had a bunch of people send in kind of the same question. About us talking about, since Triple H, it's been, we're a month into it at this point. Essentially, that's kind of where we are. And the momentum they've picked up and the things that have changed think about it, dude, in just a short month, the whole landscape of wrestling seems to have changed.
Yeah, dramatically. I have one question though, for the end of this conversation.
At the end?
Yeah, I want you to go over these topics. They're very
okay,
good.
Sure. Just some of the things that we were talking about, and I may not go in order based on the notes, but Raw even had a few weeks there, it's over 2 million. We thought those days may have been done. People were writing Raw off. Look, the 3 hours is too much. We always know that. So in my opinion, for it to be at above 2 million and consistent. To me, that's an achievement. But then, yeah, man. So a lot of people were putting out that SummerSlam was a huge success. Literally, Triple H essentially took over. It wasn't even a full week before it, was it? Or was it?
It wasn't even. It wasn't only his show. It was just the positivity that people got once they found he did it, and everything does look better. The shows are better. They seem more fun. They seem likable. I've enjoyed every single program that there's been since Triple H took over. Is that my imagination?
Could be.
I don't know.
We'll discuss that towards the end.
Does it matter? No.
But then look, Survivor Series tickets went on sale, dude, and they completely broke records on Survivor Series ticket sales. Then Extreme Rule. Look, Roman Reigns isn't even advertised. That was a big one for me. Roman's not even advertised for Extreme Rules, to my knowledge. And look, these results are a couple days old when I was taking some of these notes. But when I took these notes, they had already sold over 10,000 of the 11,000 tickets. They were already gone. That to me, that's
quick,
crazy
for a small pay-per-view to go that quick. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, is they're trying to build it to the point where there are no small, PLEs anymore.
I can't get you.
I know you can't. That's why I always go
I'm working on it, I promise. Every day I say it 3 times.
So,
I don't know, man. It seems like it's good. It seems like everybody's loving it. It seems like, everybody doesn't like AEW right now. Is that true? Do you think people, what is AEW? They've got the ball in their court.
I don't know that I would say people dislike AEW, and believe it or not, that question was sent in. We're going to address a lot of the the chaos that's going on over there, or so it seems. But for me personally, and like, how many times have we said this? Right now could potentially be the biggest opportunity for pro wrestling. I'm not talking about WWE. I'm talking about WWE, AEW, and look, Ring of Honor's AEW. I know they try to say it's separated. It's the same company. The shit's all over their TV show. It's the same company. It's a brand split without being a brand split. But NWA, MLW, because what do we always talk about? The whole rising tides raise all ships.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If all of the companies, if wrestling in general, because think about it, everybody talks about the Attitude Era. It was because wrestling got popular with non-wrestling fans.
Yes.
And that's, I think, where we have that opportunity right now.
Interesting content, quality programming. Was the wrestling the best in the world? No. Did it need to be? No. It was entertainment, and people like that. There's so much good wrestling on television right now that it's an opportunity for everyone to watch wrestling. But as a retail manager, Nick, over the post-COVID era, they let all these people go because of budgeting. And now all of a sudden they've got the money to bring them all back. What's the change?
I don't know that they have. We discussed this when we did the draft show last week. But by the way, if you haven't, you should watch it, because I found it to be very entertaining. And we also, because what we uncovered, the roster is not near as big as it was at one point. Not even close. Because I think they have a lot of people like, oh, well, they have a bunch of people at NXT that you don't see. Those people are on deals that aren't costing them a lot of money to people. I hate to be that way, but again, coming back, like you said, I think these promotions have to go. And WWE does it well. Logan Paul, Ronda Rousey, like big names that'll draw casual fan eyes, non-wrestling fan eyes. That's what I think, and that's when I say this is AEW's opportunity. We'll address the negative stuff shortly, like I said, but create some compelling storylines. Don't indie book. Don't hot shot stuff. Don't I get I get it. Use this. They need to bring in more. Like when they had Shaq in, and when they had those outside entities. That's what they need. Play the long game. Bring in some casual fans, not just your base. Because listen, Raw broke 2 million. They gave you, by the way, AEW gave you. Here's my ultimate indictment, and then we're gonna come. I don't want to go down this rabbit. I'm gonna save that for later. Something negative for AEW, just in the whole backstage stuff, but I'll come back to that. But because right now, the thing is, that WWE has all the momentum. They just honestly flat out they do right now.
Yes.
But dude, latch on to that momentum. And in NASCAR, they call it drafting.
Yes.
Freaking draft if you can right now. Jump right behind them in the lead and follow them, and get where you're going as fast as you can. And that's my take on it. So,
definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, but speaking of momentum, when we're talking about WWE, all of it's hot right now when it's heading into, we're going to jump into our questions now, Myron. So go ahead and let's fire up the first one.
Derek from Odessa, Texas wants to know, what are your predictions for Clash at the Castle this weekend? Clash at the Castle. That's a fascinating thing they're doing there, Nick.
Yeah.
They're going over there to the United Kingdom. Haven't been there for a show like this and for a pay-per-view in forever.
It's been a couple decades,
Yeah. So we're going to start this up. We'll see how it sells, see how everything goes. But they've got a small card so far, but it's an interesting card.
I mean, but
what do you like the most on this?
Here's the thing, Myron. I think most of our cards are becoming six-man cards. Is it 5 or 6? Did I miss something? I mean,
I got 5.
Okay, so maybe they'll add some things. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, and we'll get to there in a minute because there is the rumored prediction of a 6-person match with Edge, Beth Phoenix, and Rey Mysterio versus Judgment Day being added tonight on Raw. So that would make sense. That would be a really good draw.
I just heard her on on Busted Open Radio just the other day. She seems like she's in some prime shape of her life.
Yeah, and she seems like a sweetheart. She like,
Yes,
yeah, I heard the same
seems
thing.
such a nice person.
So man, look, we don't do predictions a lot, but since Derek asked, we appreciate the question. We're going to actually go through it, just kind of, and we'll work our way backwards to the notes, Meyer, just so we'll work our way to the top of the card. Rollins and Riddle, they were supposed to wrestle at SummerSlam, I think it was, and it didn't happen. And they've had this kind of ongoing feud. Do you think Riddle's ready to take that win and make that next level? Because here's the problem: wins and losses don't matter. But Seth just came off of a feud with Cody where he lost.
Yeah. Will that work for you, brother? I don't know the answer to this question. I think if there's cheating involved, Seth Rollins wins in a landslide. If we're going to see a technical match, it's going to be a damn good match because both guys are very skilled wrestlers.
Yeah, the match will be great. I just, when I'm coming up for predictions, if it were me, I would just go Rollins just because.
Yeah.
I think he's potentially like one of your next top players, like not next, but you know what I'm saying, to go back up into that main event. So maybe.
Yeah.
Then we have the 6-women tag: Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. This one to me is pretty simple. I think you got to go with Bayley's team.
Yeah, heel momentum in this. The other people are already over. They're established. And if they do the job, it would really put the Bayley faction over.
Yeah, if Bayley gets a pinfall, and God forbid she gets it on Bianca Belair, boom, then you're right into your title, your title feud.
Yep, there goes your feud.
So I say Bayley's team, but I just think they need it just to get a good win kind of out of the gate. Sheamus and Gunther, to me, is the one potentially I'm looking forward to more than anything. Because I think they're just going to beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I'm going to have to pick Sheamus. And I'm picking Sheamus. One, he's about to be a Grand Slam champion if he wins. And two, you got a German in the United Kingdom wrestling a guy from the United Kingdom. I got to go with the hometown boy.
See, I disagree. I say Gunther. By the way, somebody pointed out the other day, how adjusted are you becoming and you didn't even realize it? You're used to calling him Gunther.
Walter. Yes.
They're going to call him Gunther to the point that you break and that eventually it'll be so long that you just can't keep it up anymore. But I think Gunther, because some people are arguing Triple H's buddy, he's buddies with Sheamus, so that'll mean he gets a push now. He might also understand that Sheamus might take it from him going, need you to help get this guy even elevated even more. So therefore, Gunther goes over.
I'm going to disagree on this one.
Sure.
And I'm going to tell you why when we get to the last match.
Would you disagree with that, Matt?
No, we'll probably disagree on the main event too.
Okay.
But
Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler.
Liv. It's Liv's just going to get over on this one. It's going to make her look more like a serious wrestler. She's always been seen more as an attraction.
I get it. I'm not saying all my predictions are right. I always come back to what I think's gonna. If I think's gonna happen, Liv's gonna win. But how cool would it be for Shayna to dethrone her, and then Ronda versus Shayna for the title?
Okay, that sounds entertaining. That does sound entertaining. I give you that.
But I think we obviously are getting Liv versus Ronda, right? I mean, just anyway. I think that's where we're heading.
Okay. Okay.
But I think if Liv wins, Ronda's involved. I don't think Liv beats Shayna clean.
Oh.
Something like, and I don't mean she interferes. Something happens that helps her win, that kind of thing. And then Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. I'll let you go first since you say we're going to disagree.
I am going with Roman Reigns, even though McIntyre's the hometown guy. I think they're going to give Sheamus a win to at least satisfy the fans, and then they're going to leave the belts on Roman because it doesn't make any sense to take the belts off Roman at this event that's going to be going on in the middle of the day on a Saturday. uh, the Bloodline and Sami Zayn in the background. There's just too many bad signs against McIntyre. So I gotta go with Roman. You know?
I would agree, unless between now and then they come up with a way where both titles aren't on the line. That's my only thing. If they can figure out like it's only for one or something, then maybe. We'll see. We'll see. You brought him up, so before we go on to the next question, how good is like Sami Zayn? Like his promo on Friday, like he might be the MVP of, because he can do it all.
Yeah. He didn't even look good against Drew in that match. I mean, he's
an outstanding worker. But then he just embraces the comedy parts of it, like the whole dance thing when he was like, I get in their head and I like just sit out and I dance, and then like the Usos.
One of the Usos broke up.
Yeah, exactly.
You looked over your shoulder, Sami's shoulder. One of the Usos was doing this, so you couldn't see him laughing. Yeah. The serious one, the one that doesn't like Sami.
Now, if you want the long term, you want to play the long game. Sami's involved to help Drew win by mistake, on accident, whatever you want to call. And the reason why, because how long is it before the Usos, especially now that you're hearing that there's talks of Solo coming up from NXT to join the Bloodline, that they basically attack Sami Zayn like a pack of wild dogs, and guess who comes to his aid? Prize fighter Kevin Owens, the new repackaged. He's not. there.
So you've got a really good tag team match coming up,
or because there's been talks that maybe prize fighter Kevin Owens makes a run at Roman Reigns. I'm not saying he beats him, but prize, that the guy that NXT Kevin Owens, the guy who showed up that beat John Cena on his first night in on the main roster. Yeah. That guy is the guy who makes a run at Roman Reigns. Not the guy we've had for the last few years. Yeah.
Investigates Elias.
Correct. Okay. So, but then he would have backup because he would have Sami with him. At least it would be two of them. So because he could put the Usos in their way, Roman could set the table, then he could have some one-on-ones. That's a long, especially if they could get somebody else in that group, they could kind of like work together. Like even if it ended up being something as silly as Drew, Kevin Owens, and Sami. I know, but it's different. Anyway,
trying to put all your people from other countries in one faction, Nick.
Hey, they've done it before, and apparently the IWC loved it when it was Miro, or when it was Rusev, Cesaro, the Nations, whatever they call them, League of Nations or whatever they call
League of Nations. So. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
So, yeah. So maybe we'll see, but things are definitely getting better. And if you're looking into getting better, check out our friends over at AG1 Athletic Greens. Our next partner has a product I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I wanted more energy, and I wanted to see what was all the hype about. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, even aging. I personally use it because when I started this keto fasting diet I'm on, I was worried about the energy I was going to have. Not now. It supports better sleep quality, recovery, mental clarity, even alertness. By the way, it's cheaper than getting all the different supplements that's in this thing. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 five-star reviews and even recommended by professional athletes. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient and daily nutrition. It's one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements that you're looking to look out for your health. So to make it easy for you, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit their website at athleticgreens.com/emerging. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/emerging to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. That's right, man. Check out our friends over Athletic Greens at athleticgreens.com/emerging. Sign up today, man, and get your health kicked off in the right direction. So,
definitely.
Speaking of things in the right direction, man, let's jump right into that next question.
Oh, yeah. Trent from Franklin, Tennessee. With Triple H bringing guys back to the WWE, do you think he will try and get back William Regal?
What you think, Myron? I'll let you.
Well, yes. Possibly the most confusing of all the COVID releases was a guy that was in management of such high quality as William Regal, a guy that was shown to be successful. Now, I know they were phasing out his passion project NXT UK, but they're going to replace it with NXT Europe. Yeah, William Regal's a damn genius. William Regal, when I was a kid, I watched him. Okay, that guy has always been around. The guy is so smart, and the guy is a Triple H guy. Okay,
yeah. I ultimately think that I don't think he ever leaves or whatever. Because I think he left. I don't think they let him go. I'm not sure. But had he known that Triple H was going to be in charge soon, I think he'd have done everything in his power to stay. Because like I'm sure he like really enjoys like the freedom, the creative freedoms that he's getting, the whole Blackpool Combat Club and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure he's having fun with it, but I mean,
I think that stuff's good. I think they're doing a good job with that.
But but my thing though is when he speaks of, NXT and Triple H and stuff, you can still hear it in his voice. Like the loyalty, how much he cares, he talks about how close him and Triple H were. I mean, he's even talking about he probably wouldn't even be here without WWE for that matter.
Yeah.
Because they've helped put him through, through rehab and stuff. But
they helped him get cleaned up. And ever since he's got cleaned up, you've really seen what he can do. Yeah. It's how good he is at mentoring and teaching. His son is there now.
Mm-hmm.
His son is in NXT now. I think Regal will come back. I don't think Regal will come back because he's mad at AEW. I don't think Regal will leave, or ask for his release. I think eventually he'll just kind of fade out and then show back up on NXT.
Yeah.
It's his natural place.
Yeah. I think it's sooner, as soon as he can, he probably does.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I guess it would come down to where he's happy, right? Like if he's happy in AEW, and he doesn't want to go back to the grind of being because if you're Triple H, do you put him back basically, you don't want to say in charge of NXT because it'd be him and Shawn, I guess. But, or does he no, man, I want him up here on the main team helping me because nobody, well, I say nobody. If Shawn can run his Triple H's vision at NXT, Triple H, there is one thing Triple H does have to learn. He's going to have to learn he can't do it all. So the best thing he can do. Yeah,
he's going to need help.
But you don't need help.
Is Regal going to take Bruce Pritchard's spot? Is Bruce Pritchard's spot secure with Triple H in place? That's what I don't understand, what I don't know the answer to.
I think he could be. I just think that, because I think that what Bruce brings to the table is I don't want to say the opposing vision, but a different vision. But while Triple H is dealing with talent relations, or he's, a William Regal understands his vision, and they have a similar vision that he could trust him to be essentially his voice in those meetings because they are so similar. That's kind of what I think I was leaning to. But ultimately, you're right. It just simply boils down to because look, if Regal's happy in AEW, the schedule's not as much of a grind. I mean, it is what it is. Then kudos, he may stay, and I could not begrudge the man because at this point he's earned the right to go wherever he wants to go. So that's my take.
Dixon put Shawn on the road. Bring Shawn on the road. NXT's got to be the best job because you don't travel.
Right.
Okay, you stay down there in Florida. Is it still in Florida?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
it's in
you
Orlando at the
don't
Performance Center, and
yeah.
Sean moved from Texas. Sean lives in Florida now,
Yeah.
so
You can't imagine a better gig than that, in my
yeah.
opinion.
So, but yeah, I mean, good things, great things, and speaking of great things, Myron, that we've
Yes.
got this question. We've had this question a couple times in the past, but
Yeah.
listen, we always tell you when one of the ladies sends in the question, it makes the show.
Yeah, we gotta handle. I don't know. We haven't done those surveys like some of the other podcasts to find out what percentage of our listeners are women. But when we get a question from a woman, it takes priority. And this is from Sarah, very nice person from Greenville, South Carolina, and she wants to know: should Charlotte Flair be the person to break her father's record for title reigns? Nick.
Yes. Listen, if we've always said, like, if it was a guy, like if it was going to be a male wrestler, I've always said my take is Randy Orton, just because, Triple H doesn't want it because he's such a fan of Rick. Of course, he can't do it now anyway. Cena, to me, I only do it for Cena if the match, the guy he's wrestling, that match has to be the right move for him to win.
Yeah. And Cena's already tied him.
Right. I'm talking break. I'm talking 17. Like talking.
Charlotte got, how many she got now?
Jesus,
14?
I can't even remember. She's got so many. That's the thing. So but she's also still young enough that it's not even.
You don't have to
remotely.
Rush.
No, I mean, it's not something that you would have to worry about happen. But listen, Myron, we always talk about that. Look, even in sports, like legit, like combat, not combat, but like sports in general, records are meant to be broken. Like, it's the coolest thing in the world. Like, we cherish records in some sports. Baseball, it's even more so than others. But
were you were watching baseball during the home run derby, basically the year that McGuire and Sosa.
Yeah.
You remember how much excitement was on that? How you were watching teams that weren't even your home teams.
Yeah.
The excitement of breaking records. You could make this a big time appeal for women's wrestling.
I used to ask, how much juice do I have to take to get where I can hit that many? Anyway, that's a joke because honestly, you still got to hit the ball. You still got to hit the ball. Yeah. I'm like, so
I don't have the hand-eye coordination to do it, even if I took all the juice.
Exactly. So look, I don't know that there are many records that I sit there and like. There are records I don't think will be broken, like Cal Ripken's Iron Man record. Like, dude, like there's just, you got to play for so long. You have to be so good. And look, and I'm not knocking players, by the way. Here's the thing. When Cal Ripken did his record, I mean, if his shoulder hurt a little bit, he just played. Now you're like, well, I don't want to play with my shoulder hurt because I don't want to make it worse because, my contract's coming up and I want to make $400 million or something crazy.
Players are smarter these days.
Sure.
Okay. Players are smarter and they take care of their bodies better. I get it. But as far as wrestling goes as a sport, Charlotte getting this, breaking her dad's record, becoming the greatest of all time, having that much attention drawn to women's wrestling would really help it. And the match where, when she gets that title match set up, where she's going for it, you're going to be able to build drama. Can she do it? Can she do it this time? Is this going to be the time Charlotte breaks her record? And you're going to be able to hype that. And hype is good. And hype will get people to look.
That has to be a Mania match, right?
Yes.
When she's going for 17, yeah.
Oh, you're not going to have it at Extreme Rules.
No. I mean, I could see SummerSlam or Survivors, one of the other big ones. But I'm thinking, like, if she broke that record, it has to be at Mania. Like, it has to be.
What do they call it? The grandest stage of them all?
Exactly.
Yeah, has to be Mania. And look at Becky, okay? What of a great rival is that she has in Becky Lynch? That's helped both of them, okay? That rivalry has helped both wrestlers.
Right, but it's like if Charlotte could take that record, she claims now she's the GOAT, as Becky claims she's the man.
Yep.
So it even takes that rivalry to the next level, because those two, they'll be attached at the hip for their careers will be just because of the timing of them coming in and their rise and all that together. So yeah, I think so as well. Yeah. So
definitely.
But but look, something that just we wholeheartedly believe in, and you gotta check out to help support the show. Jump on right over to our friends over at Manscaped.
Whoa! Personal foul.
What the feezy?
You can't use a beard trimmer below the 50-yard line. This is the waterproof lawnmower 4.0 by Manscaped.
What's the difference?
It's got new skin-safe technology to help reduce cuts and nicks. It's powerful, yet gentle, just like me.
Dog, I appreciate you.
Boop.
Hey, watch out.
I'm not ticklish.
Get yours at manscaped.com.
That always tickles you, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he tries to shave the little guy, and then he shaves his balls at the end.
What kills me, though, is funny. I'm always like, anyway, I can't even say it. Check out in the show notes. The link is right there. Just click on that, go over, and help support the show. Because you know what? If you're not using your Manscaped, it could be total chaos down there. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And right now, there's been nothing more than talk about chaos somewhere else. So let's just dive right into it.
This one pains me. Aaron from Stuart, Florida. What do you guys think of all the backstage chaos rumors in AEW? Well, I'm sick of it. I heard Thunder Rosa cry on Busted Open about all the rumors that people have been making about her. And then Eva Leaks comes out. Eva Leaks is not a good person to bring on for advice about anything, in my opinion. But why are we so hung up on these details, these little bitty tiny details? It's like this is a soap opera. Okay, I know it's a soap opera for men, but the thing is, it's like being in high school again.
Dude, it's not even high school. It's middle school.
It's drama.
I heard somebody talking about this earlier today, and it made me think, like, why do we as a society, and look, and here's the problem, being able to look in the mirror and admit you might be part of the problem. That's a hard part. That really is. It's a difficult thing to do. So I am not saying that because it's easy to go down that rabbit hole. But at times you have to ask, like, why are we so insistent to tear down? Like, first and foremost, I don't even think that it is as bad as we hear it is.
No.
I think it's really, really not. Do I think
do? Go ahead.
No, I was like, do I think, did CM Punk maybe have an issue with something Hangman Page had? Maybe it was addressed. But then it's like, oh my goodness, CM Punk threatens to walk out. Like, did he? Or, but so it's a two-way street, because on one hand, it's, did that happen? I don't know. I obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know. Or did it happen and it's just misreported because, God forbid, something was misreported in a dirt sheet or a wrestling internet site. Or, I'm going to the last one, because it got out there, is AEW going to go like, well, hell, we'll just use it as part of a story then?
Could be. All that could be the truth. We could do an entire show just based on AEW Scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have to write a show for the next 6 months. Just report whatever the Scuttlebutt is. Meltzer has to report it first, even if it's not right. Okay? He said that they had to tone down their language. Warner Brothers told them to. Well, Warner Brothers didn't tell them to do that.
Right.
They talked about the language in the meeting. Oh, the Revival are left out of their video game. Well, we don't know the whole part about it. Okay? We know the whole story behind that. Oh, this has got to report. You got to come out and say that Thunder Rosa is hated backstage. I don't know if that's true. We just have to report stuff to get that click. It's clickbait. They just want you to click on that so you can go look at their ads. Okay? And trick you into looking at stuff. It's hard not to click it. I give you that, Nick. It's really hard. because I'm in my Facebook feed and one of these ridiculous stories pulls up and I'm like, oh, wow. And I fall for it. And I feel like an idiot when I do fall for it. But there's got to be some kind of damage control somewhere kind of working this to prevent some of this from happening, I think. You know?
Yeah, it's tough. It's really hard to kind of, like I said, to go sift through it all, what's true and what's not true, or even care. It's one thing to say, and I always tell people, like, if you can spin and be more positive about it, like that's to me the plus. If we can get to where we're like, hey, they're not doing this well, but at the end of the day, it comes back to when somebody reports this, they're doing this wrong, or they're doing, like, take it all for it's a lot of it's subjective and it's an opinion.
Yes.
That's the hardest part. Like, and your opinion isn't always right. So, as I always tell, if you want your opinion shared and everybody, do a podcast.
Yes.
But that's, I'm
let's
not right all
focus
the time.
on the positives.
Sure.
Okay. Let's look at the positives in wrestling. Let's try to worry more about getting new people to watch wrestling than who called Eddie, what's his name, fat. Okay. That's ridiculous. We can help professional wrestling by representing it as positively as possible. Let's try to focus on growing the sport. When we go to shows and we talk about how good a show was, I want people to hear that. So they want to go to that show, because the more people go to that show, the more money they make, the better the shows get.
Yeah.
And we need, if this is going to be the support, we're going to spend all this time. And I know wrestling fans spend a lot of time poring over wrestling news and focus on it and money going to shows. If you love something, build it up. Don't tear it down.
Right. Don't tear it from the inside, because I promise you there's a lot of outside forces trying to do it already. So, but see, speaking of some inside forces inside of wrestling, this one came across, and I was kind of like originally caught off guard by it. But let's just dive into it, man. Yeah.
Connor from Opelika, Alabama. Opelika is right next to Auburn, and I'm not an Auburn fan. I did go there for a while, though. Do you believe the rumors that Conrad, and we're speaking of Conrad Thompson right there, the man himself, the Podfather, and Jeff Jarrett, are trying to buy Impact Wrestling?
Here's the funny thing. When this question came in, Myron, hadn't heard it in the least.
No.
But the more I thought about it, I was like, one, I wouldn't put anything past those two.
No, because Jarrett is he is descended from some of the greatest wrestling promoters ever. The kind of people that put these massive ideas together. And Conrad has been one, he was successful before he ever got into podcasting. I think people forget that. Yeah. That man was a millionaire before he ever got into podcasting, and he's built the biggest wrestling podcast empire ever. Ever. Yeah. So the two of those guys worked together.
Yeah, they've both been successful throughout the years. I mean, they really have. And then, I was like, wait a minute, because you go back and do a little digging, and you're like, Tommy Dreamer said after Slammiversary, some big news was going to be coming down the pipe. Gail Kim kind of said the same thing, that there'd be coming down the road, there was going to be a way for more people to view Impact. Now, Jarrett, and if I listen to Jeff Jarrett and My World with Jeff Jarrett and Conrad weekly, and they have had conversations about just multiple things of like, oh, we're real busy, we're doing this, and got big things, major announcements. And they've always been real quick to be like, hey, we're not starting a wrestling promotion. We're not starting a wrestling promotion. And I'm like, now I'm becoming one of those people that I just criticized, right? I went, they said they would never start one. They never said anything about buying one. Semantics. Sometimes
I'm
semantics.
telling you, Impact is the best wrestling nobody's watching. It is phenomenal. I watched the Emergence event last night. Wow, that was great. I think anybody that wants to see some of the best wrestling, and you get the drama, you get everything you want in a wrestling program. It's good stuff. I think people need to check this stuff out. And if they buy it, it's only going to get bigger. If they buy it, it's only become larger. Wow. And I'd love to watch it. I buy it on. See, I don't have it in my network package. I went with YouTube TV, so I pay a little extra and I get the shows on YouTube.
Right.
And then I get all the less tiered PLEs. I get.
They get that. You could call those pay-per-views because you pay for.
Technically, yes. Well, then the bigger ones are paid.
Correct.
The bigger ones I have to pay for.
You're right.
The other ones I get because of my membership. And I don't have a problem at all with paying for this stuff because it's of that quality. I will buy all their big pay-per-views, even if I don't get to watch them right away. Like it took me 2 weeks to watch Emergence because of my schedule, but I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah. I'm going to probably push this over to Lewis too, who over on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. We've been collaborating with him, putting some YouTube stuff up. You've probably noticed if you watch the channel, he's a really diehard Impact person.
Got
so I would
Josh
love,
Alexander.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a great interview.
Yeah. I mean, but when it comes to this whole, could they be buying them? I mean, people forget, like, Jeff Jarrett started it. TNA was Jeff's. I mean, that's his thing.
Yes.
The questions I have that I would ask, though, is if they buy it outright from Anthem, then what do they do for TV? Because are they going to...
Because Anthem's a network, too.
Correct. So do they let them stay there? Is there a barter deal or what? Or, because how do they work that out? Like, as far as the airtime? Or do they go like, wow, we're just going to go do it and we're going to do this? Or... Hey, or has Jarrett done has he already done the legwork and he's got a TV deal with somebody else if he gets it?
Well, if anybody can get a TV deal, it's Jarrett.
We'll see.
Okay.
I mean, hey, listen.
He's been with Impact twice.
You want my take
also.
on it, dude? He's so in bed with Fight TV that it wouldn't stun me if there was something worked out where it was just through Fight. Conrad's been working them through StarCast and all those events, so they've got a relationship.
Oh, Ric Flair's
exactly. So I would not put that past him as well.
You can watch Impact on Fight. You can subscribe to it over there.
Yeah.
It's kind of already.
Right. Time will tell, though. I don't know. Would I don't know that I would not say they are, but but I wouldn't put it past them. Let's put it that way, right? So.
But you might find out some more details this weekend.
So I will dig. I'm going to do some digging. This weekend, I'm actually going to be heading up to Top Guy Weekend in Chicago, Schaumburg, Illinois to be exact. But, they're doing All Out, and, of course, Top Guy Weekend for all the ad-free shows. People are going up there. Shout out to friend of the show, Rafe, helping out. Believe it or not, awesome for hooking me up there. So I'm going to get up there and see what's going on and kind of we'll do some investigative work. I'm kidding.
God, I wish this stuff would happen on weekends I didn't have to work.
Right? I almost told you, like, hey, with your new boss, maybe you should ask and try.
Yeah.
But we're going to have some fun. And, like I said, hopefully a lot of those videos, I'll be hanging out. Listen, I'm going to be hanging out with Dave Wills. It's still real to me, Dave. So
you don't know whatever is going to happen when you're with Dave Wills.
You don't. So keep an eye over on our YouTube channel because there will be videos uploaded. That's my whole plan is I'm going to try to put some stuff on to the behind the member paywall. Become a member over on our YouTube channel. Turn on your notifications, all that good stuff. Because it's really going to be fun. And of course, listen though, if you're just if you're a podcast listener, you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartMedia, Amazon Music, anywhere and everywhere there are podcasts, make sure you're subscribing and giving us that 5-star rating and review if you feel so inclined. We would greatly appreciate it. But it's going to be a fun weekend for sure. I'm going to be there, I think Friday night, Saturday, and then coming back on Sunday. So
I don't know if people understand about Dave Wills that everyone knows Dave Wills in the wrestling business, from fans to wrestlers, and we're talking wrestlers of all generations. And he'll just walk up to him, start talking to him. He knows them. He knows everybody, and then he'll introduce you, and it's like, nice to meet you, sir.
Dave's a great guy. Dave, he's a wild and crazy guy, but he's a great guy.
Always have fun with him.
Yeah. So, well, man, speaking of having fun, always have fun doing the show every week, man. So we appreciate you guys, like I said, subscribing, giving us a follow, all that good stuff. Give us a follow. Help support the show. Help by, simply this. We always ask you, in the show notes, I put the links to the sponsors, Athletic Greens, Manscaped, on and on and on. Buy a shirt, Pro Wrestling Tees. We were joking about that earlier. Get them because prices may be going up. We'll leave it at that for now. So get your shirts while you can. Over at ProWrestlingTees.com, search Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. Anywhere and everywhere, absolutely, that you can, help us out, support the show. We greatly appreciate that. Anything else before we get out of here, man? Or
Nope. I really want to thank Mason. He's a fan of the show. He's at almost every wrestling show I go to. Came up to us and told us he liked our show at Anarchy this weekend. Cool dude. Anarchy show, phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you're a Georgia wrestling fan, if you're a wrestling fan anywhere, get to an Anarchy show sometime in the historic Landmark Arena. There's been the house that AJ Styles built, so much happened in that building. Gosh, Matt Hankins got burnt with a fireball.
Old school Memphis fireball from that little prick, Hunter James. I mean, he just lit him up, poof, caught him on fire. I got a feeling that old Matt Hankins is about ready because, at one point I was like he was going to put Hunter James over his knee. Well, now I think Hunter James might have an ass whooping coming.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, I had my hands on the knees. I was fixated on the ring. I looked down and there was sweat. My hands were sweating so much in my sweatpants. They were just leaving little moist places because I couldn't take my eyes off the wrestling that night. It was so good.
Yeah. Good stuff. The program, Undeniable Story that feud they've got going is great stuff. It looks like we're heading to Jeter will be feuding with Jacob Ashworth. It looks like potentially for the title. We've got a big show coming up in September. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the upcoming weeks as more stuff is kind of
fire on the mountain.
Yeah. So, anything else, brother?
No, I'm the best thing that come out of this show is I want people to know I'm excited again. Not just by indie wrestling that I always love, and every time I go to a show, I get hyped up. I'm excited to watch Raw tonight. Okay? I'm excited I'm going to have to watch Smackdown and Clash of the... Well, SmackDown's being taped tonight, right?
SmackDown was already taped. It's already taped. They taped
it
last Friday. After basically you got a double taping. You got a live show, and then you got it, yeah.
I am so excited for Clash of the Castle, even though I won't be able to watch it live. Then they've got the NXT show Sunday. I love feeling like a wrestling fan again.
Okay.
Instead of just some guy who, I don't know. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. It's a good time to be a wrestling because it's the best time. I don't know, but is this an era we're going to look back on?
I think it's a very pivotal time. I think there's lots of momentum. It's great to be excited about Raw and SmackDown on a weekly basis and not like because they're doing like one particular, they're having a big, reunion show. So everybody gets excited or blah, 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 or the post-Mania. It's, and like people don't want to accept it. Like we talked about it at the beginning. We're talking about it now. Wrestling as a whole is better when the WWE is hot.
Yes.
AEW, get hot, stay hot. Ride it and just keep. If everybody can get behind that, and ride that momentum, wrestling has a chance to gain that traction and that heat back, and be just red hot again. So that's what we hope anyway. So, but anyway,
so
yeah. So, well, man, if that's folks, all you got something else?
Thank you, and thank you for being our friends, and thank you for being listeners, and thank you for all the people we've met. Y'all don't know how much this show means to me and Nick as far as our escape from our daily troubles and the stuff we do and the activities we get to. I just really want to thank everybody.
Yeah, I agree. Well, man, what's the old saying, brother? If I've got nothing and you've got nothing, what time is it?
It's time to tap out.